everyone, it's Mochi Mochi and welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd talk about my trip with my boyfriend Josh to Budapest. We went for 2 nights and we went from Zagreb. Now from Zagreb to Budapest it's 5.5 hours by coach, and we went with Flixbus. They're an international company and they had a map on board and a toilet, and you can see where you are on like the little computer screen, like how far off you are. So they were really good, and they spoke really good English, which is, it's fine if they don't, but like sometimes if you need like the toilet or something, or you have a question, they were really efficient. Also on the way back, they were 5 minutes late. Well, they're actually 20 minutes late, but they sent me a message saying we're 5 minutes late. But it was nice just getting a message knowing that they're coming. We went with Croatia bus to Plitvice Lakes. On the way back, we were like waiting for an hour and a half. And when they finally did come, they stopped on the wrong side of the road, and Josh had to run across and say, we have tickets, like we had tickets printed off, and they were like, no, we can't let you on, we're running late. And we were like, yeah, we know, but we have tickets, you need to let us on. And they were like, no, we didn't. And Josh was like, you're letting us on. So thank God we got on. But that really put us off. So we went with the, obviously, Flixbus. Yeah, really recommend that. And they were very nice. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is the money. We went to our usual exchange place in Zagreb to exchange money from kunas to the forint, the Hungarian money. And I noticed the 2 5,000 notes she gave me were different colors. I'll put a little picture of the 2 notes up now, and I said to her, I said, oh, you know, does Hungary have old notes? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, sorry. Turns out they do. It wasn't too much of a headache. The post office changed it for us for free. There was no fee or anything, they just changed it. That was fine. It was just a bit stressful, like starting your day trip trying to find somewhere which will change it. Also, please note that the 100,000 notes are going to be changing as well. By October 31st, the old 1,000 notes will be discontinued, and you'll have to go to the post office to change them again. I think the bank as well. We tried a bank and they wouldn't change it for us. I don't know why, they didn't speak English, so maybe we just went to like at the wrong time or something. But the post office was really good. But the 1,000 notes, I believe they're just going from like a dull blue to a brighter blue. So again, that's kind of even less obvious. With the 5,000, it was like, oh, check that there's not going to be more notes changing in the future. It's all a bit confusing, but those are the 2 notes that we were told about, so just beware. I've heard in Prague that you've got to be careful with the old notes there. You know, people stand outside of exchange places and try and give you a good price, but they're using old notes which are worthless. There's a YouTuber called Honest Guide. I think Honest Guide, his channel's called, and he's really good. Before you go to Europe, he's really good at showing you all the type of scams there are. I've almost been scammed by like the deaf scam where they pretend to be deaf and try and get you to donate. Check him out, he's really good. But I didn't realize that Hungary has old notes as well. Now we started our trip with some oats and water. Now that's probably not everyone's favorite cup of tea. We added a banana as well just to spice it up. When I first saw Josh doing this, I was like, oh God. But oats and water is not that bad. It's like fills you up and it's good quick breakfast for free, pretty much. It's not for free, but you know what I mean. Our first trip was obviously to the post office, which was actually really nice. The buildings in Budapest are so beautiful. Like every corner you get a different building, and it's just, but they're really nice. The first attraction we went to was St. Stephen's Basilica. That was really nice. Now, if you're going to Budapest, I recommend looking at all the main sites and checking which one you want to go to the most, because we went to this one obviously first thing in the morning and it was not too busy. The first thing we did was we just went up to the top, the 600 forint, lots of stairs. I believe there is an elevator, but it only fits 4 people at a time. So again, if you went later in the day when it's more busy, you'd probably be waiting a while. And so yeah, lots and lots of stairs, but really good, because when you get to the first level, there's a toilet, and if you need the toilet, just, you know, maybe pay to go up there and use their bathroom. You keep going up and you can see the view from the top, and it's so beautiful, particularly in nice weather. We were very lucky with the weather. We had a clear day all day. This ended up being my favorite attraction. You also could go in for 200 forint, which is like nothing. It was like 50p. And the inside was really beautiful. The ceiling was lovely. I mean, I've been to Bath Cathedral, for example, in England, and that you have a lot to do there. Like there's quite a lot to explore in the cathedral there, but I didn't feel like there was as much to explore on the inside. However, it was still really beautiful and still my favorite attraction. Next, we went to go see the sculpture by the Danube Bank. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It was called Shoes on the Danube Bank. That is a memorial to honor the people who were killed in World War II. that's very interesting. You see a lot of people having put sweets into the shoes or stickers on them or candles, and particularly the shoes that are the size of like children's feet as well. So that was quite touching. I really liked seeing that. And that was quite busy as well. There was quite a lot of people there. We walked to lunch and we just went to this random place. I got a burger, Josh got like a chicken and rice. I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. It wasn't really the cheapest meal. The place we go to later, which I'll show you, was so good. We should have eaten lunch there. It's like street food on the other side, so I'll show you that in a bit. So then we crossed the bridge, and when you get to the end of the bridge, there's the Buda Castle Hill funicular. It basically carries you up to the top of the hill. We saw the line for that and we just were like, oh my goodness, that's insane. So we would have done it, I think, but we thought, no, we'll just walk. So we went around the back way and we found some steps up to the top, which was fine. There's lots of lookouts from the Buda Castle Hill funicular, which you can do anyway. You can see there some people waving at us, which was so cute. Yeah, so if you wanted to see this sort of area, anything on this side of the river the most, I'd recommend going here first thing in the morning. We continued and saw the art gallery, and we saw that Frida Kahlo was showing, which was quite exciting for me because I'd studied her at school. However, we thought we'd come back to that later and see. It was so busy, we thought we'd come back. So onwards we went to the Matthias Church and Fisherman's Bastion, which are next to each other. So that's really good because you can see two sites in one go. And this is where we found the really nice street food place. Now, I'm not sure if it's exactly like street food, but I mean, it was just so delicious. They had some healthy options as well. They had like vegetables. When you're traveling, it can be hard sometimes to sort of find anywhere that's just gonna serve veggies. They had like a heap of different sorts of dishes they'd made, like roast potatoes, and oh my God, it just looked so good. But we were still full from lunch. So Josh bought a sausage roll, which I ended up eating like half of because it was so good. The place was called Picnic Pavilion. So if you're on that side of the river and you're going to Fisherman's Bastion anyway, check that out. So then we went and had more of a look at Fisherman's Bastion, and this was the place I was really looking forward to seeing, but I was just surprised how big it was. The photos make it look like a little palace. It's not, it's like, ugh. Now we did end up going to Frida Kahlo's exhibition, which was really, I mean, I really enjoyed it. You know, she had a pretty tough life. Well, she had a bus accident when she was in her late teens, and so that caused her to not be able to have children, and she also had a leg injury from when she was young, and so she covers those sort of themes in her work. The way I sold it to Josh, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember learning about her. You know, she has a bunch of pets, you know, to sort of almost replace the fact that she can't have children. She had like a monkey and all these sorts of animals, and he was like, oh cool. And then we went in there and it was a lot about like uteruses and the fetus and her trauma, or I guess depression with not being able to have children. So it was quite a heavy exhibition. Josh doesn't usually, he's not into art, he's into history. So I thought this would be a great exhibition to show him, but it was a bit heavy, I think. If you're into her art, definitely check it out. Finally for dinner. Now dinner, I mean, we went out and got a few cocktails. We just walked around the town. I mean, I won't really recommend any places because they were all pretty expensive. And we tried to find somewhere for dinner. This was Friday night. All the places that looked pretty decent were just booked out. Like, this is one thing that surprised me, and I would recommend you all is to like maybe book in advance, like maybe the day before. We should have gone to one of the restaurants. We had a place recommended by the lady who was renting us the Airbnb, and she recommended a place called Lado Cafe, and that just sounded really, I just thought it was going to be a bit cheaper, and it was a cafe, it said cafe, so I was like, oh yeah, it's probably a cafe in the day and then like cheap restaurant at night. It was like a high-class dining, and then they had a jazz band in there, and it was so cool, but they just turned us away. And then we went to 3 other places, a Lebanese place and another restaurant, and they just said, no, we're full. The only places that weren't full looked kind of dodgy, and they were like, Hungarian restaurant, like they were really trying to sell that they're Hungarian to get all the tourists. So we ended up going to this Thai restaurant that we went the first night we were there. So I think next time I would definitely research the restaurants more thoroughly and actually book in advance, because we missed out on going to a nice, proper Hungarian restaurant. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about Budapest. If you have any questions, let me know. I mean, we didn't actually go to any museums really, other than that art gallery. So I guess if you're into museums and things like that, check out some other vlogs or maybe some other websites that talk about the museums you can go to, because there's a lot of good stuff there, but we just didn't have time, and we thought we're just gonna, you know, spend our time walking. We walked 20 kilometers. Oh. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.